Greetings viewers, Hugh here coming to you from a hotel room. But where exactly is this hotel room? Well, that is Leeds. Yes, I am finally up north. I am in the north. A common joke about myself was spread a couple of years ago where I never left the M25 or London or the South itself, perpetuated by my two colleagues. Well, that is over. You can finally bury that in the ground. Now, a lot of you are going to assume, oh, did your parents drag you up here? No. Did Daniel and Dylan drag you up here? No. In fact, Daniel and Dylan don't even know I'm here, which is the really funny bit. And also, part of this trip was actually funded by AdSense money that I made off of these YouTube videos. So thank you so much, guys, for watching these videos, because it allows me to do trips like this. Anyway, I'm about to check out of this hotel, and we're going to head to the railway station. So, I'll see you there. So, I'm now outside Leeds station. While I wait for my companion, let's quickly get the ticket I'm going to be using today. So, the ticket I'm using today for my travels around West Yorkshire is a West Yorkshire train day saver. Costs just about £10, and it gives me basically unlimited travel throughout West Yorkshire throughout the day, which is perfect. So, I have decided that I am going to be first going to Bradford interchange, and we're going to be going to platform 10B, so let's go. The first northern train of the day looks to be a class 195, because basically it's the diesel version of the 331 that I went on yesterday. So that's pretty cool. So, we're on our first northern train of the day, this 195 that will take us to Bradford interchange, and I think I should introduce my companion.
Hi!
This is Jack. You might recognise Jack from some of the other videos we've done, like the race in Liverpool and the race from Liverpool Street to Stratford, but this time, I'm in his hometown.
Yes, you are, and it's... Wait a minute. That means you've travelled outside the M25. Yeah.
I know, I addressed that in the intro. The joke is dead, everybody.
Yeah. But, I mean,
anyway, let's go to Bradford. So one thing I will say so far about this 195, because this is my first time in a class 195, is that diesel engine's not too bad. It's quiet-ish, which isn't too much of a problem. I mean, then again, Jack, you're the local here, so you're more used to these than I am.
I am, and I'll admit, obviously compared to the 150s and 158s, they are a lot quieter, but we've got a slightly different feel that makes them feel a bit worse than them. But you'll sort of see later on when you...
Yeah, I'll see, because I have done a 150 before on the Marston Vale line, but I haven't done a proper 150 journey, but so far this train's fine. Yeah, not much really to complain as we head through the suburbs of Leeds on our way to Bradford, and we're going to Bradford interchange for one reason, and that reason will become apparent later. We're changing platforms here at Bradford, and the reason why we're doing this is because we're here to get that thing, that Grand Central 221 Voyager. We're just going to go one stop to Halifax, and we're doing that for one specific reason, which I'll get onto in a minute. But Jack, you have something to say about Bradford Interchange, don't you?
Bradford Interchange is a really weird station. If you've ever wondered why Bradford Interchange is like a terminating platform, because when trains come into Bradford that come from Leeds and they're going over to Manchester and the Calder Valley, the driver has to get out and change ends, because obviously you can see there's buffers.
Yeah, that's just happened to our 195 going to Chester. Yeah. Driver just changed ends on it.
But if you've ever been to Bradford Foster Square, it's the same thing there. Obviously, most trains terminate at Bradford Foster Square. But originally there was actually plans to link Bradford Foster Square and Interchange to be a through line, but as you can see, that's never really happened.
There you go. It's the unfortunate thing. The North sadly does suffer from severe underinvestment in rail infrastructure, and that's coming from someone who grew up in London. So there you go. Yeah. Anyway, it's Grand Central time.
Let's go.
So we're now on this Grand Central Avanti Interior 221. We're just going to be taking this 2 stops to Halifax. Now the reason why I wanted to get this train today is that literally this morning Grand Central announced an order for new Hitachi tri-mode trains to replace these and the Class 180, which is good because quite a lot of Grand Central's network is under wires, and frankly they do need bi-mode, or tri-mode actually, trains in this case to run, so that's very good. Anyway, we're going to Halifax. Excited, Jack?
Yes, let's go.
So, we've made it to Halifax. We're going to get a northern train from here to our next destination, Huddersfield. But Jack, you got something to tell me about Halifax?
Yes, so you might be familiar. Halifax is probably named after the bank Halifax. There's probably no name and surprise there. But if you balance the camera around, you can see a Poetry Street sign.
There you go.
Yes, you make Poetry Streets here.
The more you know. So our train to Huddersfield's almost arriving, and it is a Class 150. So finally, I mean, I lost my 150 virginity nearly a year ago. I lost my northern virginity yesterday. I'll finally be losing my northern 150 virginity right now.
But at least you're experiencing the true 150 experience.
I can't wait. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I am now on a Northern 150, and what can I say about it? It's kind of honestly. It's just And it's just, I mean, this is different from the London Northwestern one. It's got the same seats as the 319, but yeah, it's just kind of Anyway, let's go to Huddersfield. So the 150 is alright. Like, it's a lot like, as I said, I think the 319 that I rode a few years ago. But yeah, it's a train. It does the job it needs to do. I've not really got much else to say. I've got two weird things to say about Northern. One, the announcements always say the next station stop is, like, why? And also when boarding a train, whenever the doors are released, it's always a local door release for the guard, and that plays the door release sound, and you think, oh, the doors are open, but they're not for another 20 seconds before the guard actually releases the doors. So that's two things I've noticed about Northern so far. Jack is just intently listening to me
yes.
while I talk about this. But yeah, we're going to Huddersfield, Jack, and you've told me that we're going to be arriving on a rare platform.
Yes, and it won't be there for much longer, and that is platform 5 at Huddersfield. It's one of the 3 bay platforms there, and it's one of the shortest platforms there, and you can only fit a 2-car 150 or 158. It's like ridiculously short and pointless, but thankfully it's going when Huddersfield gets remodelled and rebuilt in a couple of years.
Because they're doing TPE electrification.
Yeah,
so yeah, that'll be a very cool thing to see when we get to Huddersfield.
Yeah, it's like ridiculously short.
So Jack and I have made it to Huddersfield, which has got a lot of construction work going on because of that thing. You can't quite see it in the sun, but it says TransPennine route upgrade. Jack will explain that a little bit later on. But our next thing to do is we're going to be getting a TPE 802 back to Leeds, and the reason why we're doing that is because I've never been on a Hitachi 80X on diesel mode. It's always been electric, so I wanted to give that a go. And also, it gives me an opportunity to ride the TPE 802, which is fun.
And quickly before we go, if Hugh spins the camera 180 degrees, this empty space here, if you came here 12 months ago, there would have been a building here, and that was the old tea room, which have actually dismantled and taken off site, and we're going to rebuild it in a couple of years once all the upgrade work has been done here. That's just an interesting fact.
That's pretty cool. So, first impressions of this TPE 802, it's pretty cool.
So, while Hugh's having a momentary charge, I'm going to quickly explain a few interesting things about the TransPennine route upgrade, because obviously I know Hugh's briefly mentioned about it, and we briefly mentioned it at Huddersfield, is that we are for tracking the whole section between Huddersfield and Dewsbury. I believe you might put a map up showing where that is, but before tracking it, electrifying it, and upgrading all the stations with step-free access. And they actually are building quite a big flyover at Ravensthorpe, which will basically handle all the tracks converging, and basically all the fast lines and slow lines converge, and it's quite complicated, so I'll keep it brief. But at the moment there's only one small section of the line between Morley and Cottonley, and kind of where the new White Road station that's yet to open. That's the only bit that's got the new overhead electric gantries at the minute, and most of the tracks being replaced between Dewsbury and Leeds, so pretty much it's getting there. And a lot of those sections between Huddersfield and Leeds has changed ridiculously over the last 18 months. But I'm gonna show blabbering, but if you do want to check out some of the stuff, you can head over to my channel and watch some of the TIU upgrade video series I do. I'll admit, I haven't posted anything in about maybe 9 months, but blame uni for that. But hopefully in a couple of months I'll be back on with YouTube stuff. So anyway, I think before we get to Leeds, is there anything else you want to say here?
No, do check out Jack's channel. But yeah, it's actually quite nice to ride this route while it's all still diesel and slightly limited, and also ride a TPE 802, especially an IAT on diesel. So yeah, it's very exciting, this route upgrade. So thumbs up from me.
Yeah, and one thing, this clip's taken us about maybe a couple of times to film, because honestly, and I've said this to everyone before, but no one believes me that the CX8 sorting messages play like 3 times. Just constantly.
Yeah, it is worse than the long announcements you get on a Thameslink train down south, believe me.
Yeah, it's bad. Oh, we're just passing through Mayfield. I don't think we can get shot.
Hello, Murfield. Anyway.
Right, see you at Leeds.
So we are coming back into Leeds on this TPE 802, and we've got a very quick change here to get an electric northern train to Ilkley.
Yes, and it's one of the Fishbowl 333s.
Very excited to ride one of them, as it's basically the sort of similar to the 332, which used to run with Heathrow Express, so I'm quite excited about that. Anyway,
let's head over to platform 5, I think.
Right. So we're coming up to our platform, and here's our 333, and would you believe it, it is unit number 1. It's pretty insane. Oh, this is very nice. So, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to make this beautiful Class 333 to Ilkley. I knew it was a CAF, but I didn't know it was partially Siemens as well. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, similar-ish to the 332s that Heathrow Express used to have. And yeah, this feels really, really nice on the inside.
This is possibly one of my favourite Northern fleets ever, purely because A, the brakes of electric, but B, there's just a feeling that you don't really get on any other trains. It's got that unique look to it. Kind of almost reminds me of like some trains in Northern Ireland or Ireland, if you know what I mean.
I haven't been to Northern Ireland.
I feel like I could be wrong, but it reminds me of ones over there. But yeah.
Anyway, let's go to Ilkley. I will say, of all the northern trains I've been on so far during this trip, this has got to be my favourite. Yeah, wonderful. Come on, Jack.
Yeah. They are really good, but you know what, fun fact? These trains originally were 3-car units when they first came into service about 25 years ago, and then they upgraded them to 4-car, and to be honest, I've been on these a couple of times, and there's been no capacity problems, but I will say there's an interesting seat layout on these.
Yeah, it's a 3x2, and it's
and
kind of...
there's some that are like on the side as well.
Yeah,
weird.
like what you get on the Turbo Stars. It's a little bizarre. So we've just got to our first stop, Guiseley. One thing I will say is I really like the announcements on these 333s. They're like, "Welcome to the Ilkley train." It's like so very grand. He finds that funny.
Do you know what? I just love taking the mickey out of Hugh's northern accent. If he ever does it, it's actually makes my accent sound a bit
What do you mean? You don't know anything about North? I am very sorry to any people from... Okay, so that was funny, me trying to do a northern accent. He's still sniggering, but anyway, as I said, we're continuing our journey up to Ilkley on the Ilkley train. So we're coming into Ilkley now. We're actually going to get this train back to Leeds just because the next Bradford train's not for a while. I'm going to very quickly though head out the station and grab some lunch while Jack waits. So after a very quick pit stop in Ilkley for some lunch, reason why we're coming out pretty quickly is because we want to go to Bradford to Forster Square, but the next train isn't for nearly an hour. So we're going back to Leeds, but I don't care if we're going to Ilkley and back because we get to enjoy these really nice trains. So yeah, I don't think I'll film much on this journey, so I think we'll see you when we're back at Leeds. You got anything to say, Jack?
No, not really. I think it's, yeah.
So for the third time today, we are back at Leeds, and well, our next plan is to get another Northern 150 to Headingley, and then we're going to come back on a Northern Class 170. So yeah, just more different types of trains, really. That's the goal here. Look what's here. It's locomotive 91119 that is in the commemorative intercity livery, and it's named after Bounds Green Depot, which is where these trains used to be based. So that's pretty awesome to see this locomotive in its original livery. That's really, really nice. So yeah, 91119 here at Leeds. So I don't think we're going to be able to bring you much from this journey to Headingley because this train's looking pretty packed. So first, the proper northern experience right here. So we're arriving at Headingley. Jack's going to do the honours of opening the doors. Oh. It's in the wrong place. There we go. So our next train is a Class 170, which I was actually surprised to learn that Northern actually run Class 170s. And this is also my first time on a Class 170, though it's not my first time on Turbostars. I've done 168 and 171 in the past. And we're just going to get this back to Leeds, just because I want to get another Northern train under my belt.
Yeah. And then we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah. So, we're on this 170 heading back to Leeds. This is my fourth new Northern train of the day, and as with any other Turbostar, because I've been on a 168, 171, it's pretty nice. Yeah, really not much else to say. It's just a Turbostar. Of course, these are used by a lot of other TRCs, but I happen to be using one of Northern's. So, we'll see you back at Leeds. So our next destination is Wakefield Kirkgate.
Yes.
And Jack, I'm hoping we're going to get like a 195 or a 158 there. What train are we getting?
It's another 150, Hugh.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
Wait a minute, sorry, I didn't mean the 150, I meant the 158.
Oh, that's great. Not that one though. And also this isn't actually the one we're getting. We're just doing this as a fun joke.
Northern would like to apologise for the delay to this service.
Just got on this 158 here at Leeds. It's a bit delayed. I went on one of these yesterday. Perfectly alright. Anyway, we're going to Wakefield Kirkgate.
Yes. Unfortunately, Wakefield's ugly above it. Well, actually, not alright. It's a little bit nicer than Westgate, but that's we'll see your opinion on that.
Let's go. We have arrived at Wakefield Kirkgate, but the problem is we were planning to get a TPE from here to Castleford, but that's now been delayed indefinitely. So we're going to have to very quickly change to get another Northern train back to Leeds. It's getting a bit messy here, folks.
No, you're getting the full Northern experience.
Woohoo!
I'm a TransPennine experience.
Yay!
You've been TransPennine.
Hey! Goodbye, Northern 158. We kind of genuinely do kind of need to get a move on because the train back to Leeds is in 15 minutes. No, not 15. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
It's been delayed.
It's been delayed as well, and also Wakefield Kirkgate has got like a really long ramp. So
The same on the other side as well.
fun. So here we are. This is our second Class 195 of the day. We're getting this to Leeds. So for the umpteenth time today, we're back at Leeds, but this is the final little trip out we're going to do. We're going to get the next Northern train to Bradford, Forster Square, then we're going to go up to Shipley, and then we're going to come back here to Leeds because I have a train to catch to get back to London. So this is my final little adventure up north, and it's going to be on some electrics, which is great.
Yes. Going to Bradford again.
I know. We're not
You
that...
have one job, and that's not to go to Bradford, but yet you wanted to go to Bradford, so that's your doing. So if you're in the comments saying, why you keep going to Bradford, it's not my fault, it's not always.
Well, there you go. So, now on board a Class 331, which is basically just an electric version of the 195 we've just been on. So, there you go.
Welcome aboard this Northern service to Bradford Forster Square. Next station stop.
Not gonna brag. So we didn't really film on that train from Leeds because it's the same train that we've ridden already and all that. So we're here at Bradford. We're gonna quickly grab 2 more stations after this, and we're now gonna cut to Leeds, where we're gonna wrap up the video.
So we're back here at Leeds after taking you all over West Yorkshire. So what's your opinions of the North?
Well, I think the stereotypes of short-form trains, crowded trains, delayed trains holds very much true. There were several of the trains we took today were massively delayed, but also there were some really nice trains in there. And speaking of it, I've actually decided to rank all the trains I've been on today. So the worst train I've been on today, it has to be that 150. It's just like...
I actually like the 150s, that upsets me. I probably might give a lot of controversial opinions in the comments, but I prefer the 150s.
It was alright. It was better than a Chiltern 165, which is my least favourite DMU. And then after that, I'd probably say the 158, because I think the 158 onwards, everything's okay. The 158's very nice. We didn't get to ride one with the short back seats, though we saw one in the platform when we got here, but we couldn't be bothered to get on it. And then I'd put the 170, the seats on there are really nice. Then I would put the 221 we went on earlier in the day, just because it's just a 221, like it's ex-Avanti, it's a stopgap train for Grand Central. Then I'd put the 195, solid new diesel train. I quite like the Northern Civities. Then I'd put the 331, it's basically the 195 but electric. And then second place, it's got to be the 333, brilliant electric train. Jack agrees with me. The fish balls, brilliant CAF Siemens work. And then the best train I rode up north, the TransPennine Express Class 802, because it just felt like a really nice Hitachi IET. And speaking of which, I have one to catch in about an hour.
And I'm going to head off as well, so...
Anyway, Jack, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you with me today up here in the north. Do subscribe to Jack's channel, Railway Secrets. There'll be a link in the description. And yeah.
See you.
1 hour later.
So I'm now on my LNER Azuma train that will take me back to London. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye. I've got to say, it feels really weird to be back in London after all of this.